The Metro leading on the story that Volodymyr Zelensky has promised that Ukraine will host Eurovision next year after his country's emotional song contest triumph.
Now, NATO officials have said Vladimir Putin's invasion strategy in the east of Ukraine might be stalling.
It's thought that Russia may have lost a third of its ground combat troops and is failing to gain ground in the Donbass region.
Well, our correspondent James Waterhouse is in Kiev for us this morning. Morning, James. So the invasion might have stalled, but it seems that it is far from over.
That's exactly the case, Sally. When we talk about a third of those combat troops, well, that's from the UK Ministry of Defence, that includes killed soldiers, injured soldiers, as well as damaged equipment. Now, NATO thinks Ukraine could eventually put itself in a position to fully push the Russians back and win this war. But President Zelensky, when he was asked about the issue of Mariupol, that besieged city in the southeast, he conceded that he didn't have the military means to push the Russians out and free that deadlock as things stand. And the Pentagon in the US made a similar conclusion a month ago, saying the Russians had lost around 25% of its invading force. Look, I think this has been the case for some time. These are the very reasons that Russia has looked to shift things eastwards, and today the Ukrainians are saying the Russians are continuing to try and launch offensives all along the front line, stretching from the east and across this land corridor to the south, but they are sustaining heavy losses as well in terms of bridge building equipment, as well as continued morale issues. There's heavy fighting around the city of Izum in the northeast, which the Russians now occupy, but the Ukrainians are keen to disrupt things so to not have friendly troops trapped further south in that Donbass region where we're continuing to see heavy fighting.
And of course, James, we saw Ukraine, didn't we? They won Eurovision on Saturday, and that's a big reminder of how much support they actually have across Europe. What was the reaction there?
It was upbeat yet sombre, reason being that when the results came in, it would have been around 2-3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of a curfew, so many Ukrainians watched it at home, or they might have had house parties or at a flat. And you know, what matters to people is standing up for their country, and one member of Kalush Orchestra wasn't there. He was serving in the territorial defence. He was volunteering to fight. The other members had had special permission to leave the country to go perform in Turin. And I think any gesture, big or small, that stands up for Ukraine in its continued struggle in this ongoing invasion is seen as a good thing. It's received incredibly well. And I think for Ukrainians to sit in front of a TV or watch on their phones and sing along and cheer for something is something just vastly different from the previous 82 days, to be honest with you.